Okay, go ahead, Arnie. You're all set.
Okay, thank you, Joanne, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the May 7th, 2025 meeting of the Danbury Planning Commission. We will open with the roll call. Mr. Chiocchio.
Here.
Ms. Hofstetter.
Here.
Mr. Sylvain.
Here.
Mr. Haas.
Here.
And Arnold Finaldi is here. Very good. Commission members, the minutes of the April 16th meeting were previously distributed. Unless there's any comments or discussion, I will entertain a motion to accept those minutes.
Mr. Chairman, so moved.
Thank you, Helen. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Bob.
I'll abstain because I was not at the meeting.
Noted. Thank you, Bob. Any other comments?
Nope.
There's been a motion and a second to accept the minutes. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The minutes are accepted. I'll let the record show our next regular meeting is scheduled for May 21st, 2025. Before we proceed, I'll read the standard Zoom intro. This meeting of the Danbury Planning Commission is being held on Zoom as a virtual meeting. Even though this meeting is a virtual meeting, members of the public and interested parties continue to have the opportunity to participate in the meeting in a couple of different ways. You can participate via Zoom and see the audio and the video, or you can call in by phone and participate via audio only. Please be aware that we may have to mute your microphone or telephone to avoid an echo or some other background noise. Instructions on how to participate in the meeting appear on the City of Danbury website, and all of the documents and materials that apply to the matters to be discussed during this meeting, including the agenda, are also available on the City of Danbury website. As always, if you have any questions regarding how to participate in the meeting, please contact the City of Danbury Planning and Zoning Department. As a reminder, the entire meeting will be posted on and can be seen on the City of Danbury website. We will follow the posted agenda as per standard practice. If prior to the meeting, any discussion, any questions or comments on agenda items were submitted via email to the Planning and Zoning Department, those comments will be read during the appropriate portion of the meeting. Finally, please remember that technology glitches do sometimes occur. Please be patient if that happens. Looking at our agenda, we have no new public hearings this evening, so we'll move right to item 1 under continuation of public hearings. Item 1, 2 GPR Owner LLC. Application for special exception site plan approval for 1, storage or sale of building materials, section 6A2B15. 2, storage, sale, rental, and or repair of construction equipment, section 6A2B16. 3, truck terminal, warehouse, moving and storage establishment, self-service storage, section 6A2B19. And 4, wholesale distributor, section 6A2B20 in the IL40 zone, 2 Great Pasture Road, K15109, special exception number 754. Commission members, I believe earlier today, Ally sent out an email including reports from the engineering department and the traffic engineer. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of this application? Mr. Dodo.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the Planning Commission. Benjamin Dodo, licensed professional engineer with an office at 36 Mill Plain in Danbury. With me tonight is Barbara Constable with A2 Landscape Design. This project has been in front of you for a few meetings now. After the last meeting, we did a complete response to all outstanding comments under the cover of a 416 letter. There was a subsequent minor revision, and I'm just going to touch on some of those revisions that we've done since the last meeting. We did a complete response to the engineering department, made some changes to the drainage system, some grading adjustments, met with Rob Barone with Construction Services and City Traffic Engineer Vera Karakunda about the crosswalk situation. At the last meeting, I mentioned we were asked to take it out, and then we were asked to keep it there. So we met in the field, we resolved it. The end result was it couldn't stay where it was. It was put in by a previous tenant in a sort of an awkward spot. Crosswalk went into a driveway apron. So what we're doing is We're putting a new crosswalk in approximately 10 or 15 feet to the west. We're putting ADA landings on both sides and tying it into the sidewalk system on our side and upgrading the signage. And that was acceptable to Vera and Rob. Under the cover of a letter, we responded to all of the outstanding staff comments. Made some adjustments to the floodplain cut and fills. We are here for a floodplain permit as well. We still have a negative fill, which basically a net cut in the floodplain for our activities. If this project is approved and a floodplain permit issued, it is still applicable. We did lose one parking space in the back. The engineering department didn't like a tree planted too close to a fire hydrant that we're relocating and putting a new one in with this project. So the easiest way to accommodate that was just to get rid of one parking space in the back, just to create a larger area for the fire hydrant. I can go over the plans if you'd like. I think I'd like to share my screen briefly, if that's okay.
Go ahead, Ben.
Thank you, Joanne. And I just want to touch on the changes because that's, really all we've done. So starting with the crosswalk over here in the front of the site, we have completely upgraded it and shifted it. There are no sidewalks on the other side of the road. So what we did is we put a level landing and 3 sections of sidewalk. So if the city or the owner across the street ever does extend the sidewalk down that road, it's a very easy connection and tie into. We have signs at the crosswalk, and then we have signs approaching it both from the east and from the west. Vera asked for a new up-to-date signage. In the back of the site, there were some questions by the fire marshal and also by staff as far as providing access in the storage areas. So what I did was we have a dedicated aisle here now in this larger storage area. The fire marshal issued a letter today saying that was satisfactory. And we also have an area in the back that allows for, access. And so the storage areas aren't so deep. We submitted some vehicle turning plans. This was a staff comment. Just want to get to that briefly. Just to show, that trucks do, large tractor trailers do currently access the site. They have the ability to come in now on the east side, but they can't come around the back. They have to do a 3-point turn and come out, likewise on the west side driveway. So by linking it, we're able to get all the way around the site. Large tractor trailers able to get through the storage area, and the back area is really meant for box trucks, pickup trucks, things of that nature. So we have shown that as well. I want to show you the fire hydrant. Sorry about that. And Chairman, you mentioned we also received a letter from engineering today. Engineering's comments were very minor. Couple questions about manholes and sumps and some construction related issues. We don't object to any of those comments. They don't impact the site plan in any way. So right over in this area, we're relocating the fire hydrant into the island. We removed a parking space in this area to allow for a tree and a proper separation distance to the hydrant. That was a concern that engineering had. And the bottom line is, I don't know if you need Barbara to go over her plans as well. She's here tonight. She submitted some revisions to the landscape plans, really just to correspond with the revisions I've done to make sure that no plants are on top of storm pipes that were moved, that the trees were moved in these islands. She's on the road right now. I can share her plans if anyone has any questions, or I can just finish up my presentation here and answer any questions anyone may have.
It's really up to you, Ben. It's really up to you if you want to share anything. It's not my call.
Yeah, I'm going to briefly share Barbara's plans. Just as you remember, this is a pretty extensive landscape plan. I'm not going to go over every single sheet individually here, but the bottom line is the landscaping's extensive. Some of the questions were with respect to at the last meeting, we had said we felt that the screening along the top of the plan with fencing was adequate. And then toward the railroad track between the natural buffer and the landscaping and the topography, we felt that screening was not necessary, and we're not currently proposing it. It's really unwarranted, and it creates a choked site. We do have, between the landscaping, the retaining wall, the guardrail, the chances of creep in the back are very little. And also we have an approved site plan and a wetlands approval that we can't go beyond the limits of the footprint here anyway. So here's Barbara's and Abigail's plans. They were changed slightly. And then I'm just going to go over in summary, because I know the public hearing has to close tonight unless you set a special meeting. That's my understanding. So just in summary, the special exception requirements 10C4, about not being detrimental to adjacent properties. This is outdoor storage. The building itself is going to stay the same. We're having no negative impact to the other properties from a smoke, noise, odor standpoint. Conforming to the neighborhood, this is an industrial neighborhood. It's in an IL40 zone. All the storage is proposed is behind and beside the building, and it's adequately screened and protected. We're not going to harm the environment. We do have an EIC approval, and we're actually, as I mentioned at the last time I spoke, I briefly touched on the fact that this site has previously been remediated, and some of the work that we're going to be doing is going to be a continuation of that, both managing the soil, and then the asphalt in the back will serve as a cap to further protect both people and the environment from access to those soils. We're putting in a detention system, water quality system, and extensive landscape plantings. The next step in this project, if it's approved by the Planning Commission, is we have to go to DEP, Connecticut, for a soil management plan. In order to do the site work in the back, we're going to be working on that with our LEP. And the EIC has required that we keep them in the loop with respect to that plan being approved. So before anything gets moved in the back, when I say moved, I'm talking about earthwork, paving, drainage. We're going to have that DEP plan in hand. And if anything changes as a result of it, we'll obviously let staff know, and it'll either be done administratively or we'll have to be back here if it's significant. I don't anticipate anything significant. And most importantly, we still have no net fill in the floodplain. We have a net excess cut or available storage of 234 cubic yards. I just want to note that number changed a little from the original application, and that had to do with development of this soil management plan with the DEP. We don't want to export any soil from this site for obvious reasons. We want to keep it all on site. So some of the grades between our original submittal and today changed slightly just to get a better balance of materials on this site. Again, there's no change to filling in the wetlands that we're doing. So everything is what you've seen with just responding to staff comments. I'll be happy to answer any questions anyone might have.
Commission members, any questions for Ben at this point?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Kyokyo.
I just have one question. Ben, on the existing the beacon sales,
Yes.
outdoor storage,
Yes,
that's gonna remain the same and you're extending that area with like the striping is the extended area for that storage? Is that? am I-
it's,
So
it's a-
their area is gonna remain the way it is today?
their area is going to remain the way it is today. They were asked by the owner if they needed any additional space, that they can amend their lease and take it. They do not need that space as of now. So we're just getting it approved on the other side of their area.
Okay, and then what's there, if I can read that right, it says a chain link fence, so that's the fencing around their existing storage
Yes,
area is just a chain link fence?
yes.
And is it see-through or,
On the front side, I think it is, it's screened. I think that was part of their original approval.
okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Any other questions, commission members, for Ben at this time? Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this application? Anyone else in favor? Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this application? Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to this application? Anyone in opposition? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition to this application? All right, Ally, I'm looking at my notes here. Fire marshal, traffic, construction services. Ben mentioned a couple of very minor engineering things, no deal breakers. Am I forgetting anything, or is everybody in?
Nope, everyone's in. Planning will issue a final staff report prior to any resolution the commission sees fit. But engineering has a final staff report, and so does fire marshal, and then planning would as well.
Thank you, Ally. Commission members, any other questions or discussion for the applicant?
Nope.
Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved?
Motion made to close. Do I see a second?
Second.
Second, Helen, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? This hearing is closed.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anybody want to move this to item 1 under old business for discussion and possible action?
Mr. Chairman, so moved on that.
Thank you, Helen. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Haas. A motion made and seconded to move the matter of 2GPR owner LP to item 1 under our old business agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? This matter is moved to item 1 under old business. Okay. Moving right along, under a continuation agenda, item 2. Bright Ravens IS Danbury LLC, application for special exception site plan approval for hotel conversion to apartment house mixed use Innovation Studios Danbury in accordance with section 5B2B14 and trip generation greater than 500 vehicle trips per day, section 3E2 in the CA80 zone, 18 Old Ridgebury Road, C15008, special exception 804. And again, I believe there was some information transmitted to the commission today via email. I believe that was the final version of the affordability plan. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of this application?
Yes. For the record, Steve Sullivan from CCA Engineer, licensed professional engineer in the state of Connecticut. It's been a few weeks since we last saw you, but at the last hearing, we had some questions about traffic, and Joe Balskas is on the Zoom tonight to clarify some things regarding some of those questions from the last meeting. So we'd like to start off with him first.
Sure. All yours, Joe.
Good evening. For the record, Joe Balskas, professional licensed engineer, state of Connecticut. And I've got some traffic questions. I got a little slides. I didn't show last time. I showed the first time. Got a couple of questions on traffic and on the site driveway. So if I can share my screen, if that works, here, entire screen, share that. And then I will share my PowerPoint, if that's okay. Let me go to that and then go to presentation mode. Can you see my slides?
Yep.
Yes.
Without seeing yourself? Okay, good. All right, so real quick, a couple of slides I showed last time. I went through the existing conditions, at least the first hearing. I showed the existing conditions and trip generation, talked about that. There were some questions about the traffic access, circulation, as well as the site driveway and queue and site driveway. So just to bring this up again, this is our trip generation summary that we showed a couple weeks ago. And I highlighted here a couple things in terms of what this project would generate. This is the numbers down here in highlighted in yellow, the subtotal. This is the difference between the hotel, prior hotel, and what's proposed. And you can see there's a plus in the morning and 134 in the morning, 100 in the afternoon, peak hours, but a net negative in the daily. But what does that mean in terms of our distribution of traffic? So in terms of where they're going to be coming from, 34 and 101 in the peak hours, we expect about 80% of the traffic to be coming to and from Interstate 84. And obviously the ramp right next to the site right here is very adaptable and very accessible from the development, as well as the free-flowing ramp on Owensbury Road going to the east and then going to the west. They can use Milestone Road to come through Reserve, Owensbury Road, or take a left and go on to Mill Plain Road and take a right into the site and vice versa. Not a lot of traffic doing that. If you look at the numbers here in terms of how much traffic will be doing that, not a lot. So we don't see a lot of traffic actually using Mill Plain Road, but those are the routes that they can choose to get to the site. What does that mean? So what we did was basically we took the traffic volume, took this traffic volume, actually this larger traffic volume, okay, because this is what we'd see in the final condition, and we obtained some traffic volumes along Owensbury Road, and we developed a capacity analysis basically for the intersection. Sorry, let me go back up here. For the intersection of the site driveway, right here, and Owensbury Road. We did a capacity analysis. You've heard us many times before using the software that we have. And we did a couple things here. I want to test a couple things. So we did a weekday PM peak hour analysis. And we have a level service D for the exiting traffic. Makes sense. You have, 800 cars on Owensbury Road. So what does that mean, the level service D? And these are the actual calculations here. What does that mean? That means basically our queue and our calculations worksheet here is resulting in a length of about 2 cars, maybe 3 cars tops on the driveway with those volumes. And there's a 1-car queue waiting to turn left into the site on Owensbury Road. Not a problem. That's actually 2-car queue is actually what we'd expect to see out there. As you're trying to turn out there, because the site driveway has 1 exit lane, basically, it's very short width for 2 lanes, but mostly if you're trying to turn right against traffic, or you're trying to turn left, if someone turns left, it's going to back up the right turn volume. But again, a couple cars. That's to be expected. We also looked at when there's a banquet there, when there's a chamber event there, with a full parking lot, 600 people, things like that. And obviously you get a level service F, but you get a 20-car queue. And that's what we heard from before, that someone's saying, well, and I've been in that queue as well. I've been to chamber events there as well. So we did analysis for that, just to show you the difference between the volume that we're talking about from this development and reuse of the hotel versus a banquet actually happening, everyone leaving at the same time. You have that whole traffic leaving at the same time. That's where you see that 20-car queue or more for exit traffic. We're not going to have that. We're going to have a 2-car queue with the project as proposed, with the volumes that I mentioned here. These kind of volumes, that's what we're going to have happening at the site driveway versus a full-on banquet, everyone leaving at the same time. So what does that mean? Less impact to exit traffic, less impact to Owensbury Road. So the conclusion I talked before keeps us in terms of limited queuing on the driveway. It's not 20 cars as we had with a banquet release. There's no real queue on Owensbury Road. If we saw some queuing stop on Owensbury Road to turn left in, might be an issue. Level service D is what you expect for exiting traffic on that site driveway with Owensbury Road. So we're not seeing an impact to Owensbury Road. We're not seeing an impact to Mill Plain Road. And from that, we're drawing conclusions again that the hotel conversion works for traffic. And that's my presentation. We're willing to take any questions anyone has, but pretty straightforward in terms of the access to the hotel, the amount of traffic we're talking about, the new traffic. All right. The analysis was based upon the proposed traffic, all traffic at the site driveway, but the new traffic is going to be used, is this amount will be using Old Ridgeberry Road, Milestone, and Livet on Mill Plain Road to access Interstate 84.
Commission members, any questions for Mr. Balskis at this time? Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Back to you, Steve.
Okay, earlier this week, we received staff comments and we had a chance to review those staff comments. We don't find anything alarming in those staff comments, and we'd hope the commission could close the hearing with a condition, if they're, if we're fortunate, for a condition of approval, that we respond to those comments. I just would like to show two things, or point out two things. I can share my screen. Okay, has that popped up on your end?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, hold on a second here. How about now?
Yes.
Yes.
In regards to the staff comments, just 2 points. One, and I think the chairman mentioned this just earlier, they have agreed upon, the parties have agreed upon a affordability plan. So we think that is all satisfied. And last week we did, after staff comments, we did add a exterior connection from on the south side of the existing pool patio that's located right where my cursor is. So we added another connection with steps and some walkways from the original proposed step and walkway up to Old Ridgeberry. So someone coming down this section could take a right and go down another set of stairs and steps, and then connect into the existing walkway system that's on the south side of the hotel building. So I just wanted to point that out to the commission and staff if they did not see that. But again, we did review the comments, and we don't feel there's anything alarming in there that hopefully we could close the hearing and move forward. So I can answer any questions the commission may have.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. Commission members, any questions for Steve Sullivan at this point? I guess not. Steve, did you have any other presenters, or should I call for the opposition?
I think Dan, I think we're all set. We can take comments from anybody.
Dan Bertram, I'd just add that we're very excited to get open, and we appreciate your consideration towards that end. So
thank you, Mr. Bertram.
But we're happy here to answer any questions if we've left anything out. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this application? I see a hand up with an Ellen, but I don't know. They're muted. Do you see that, Joanne? Is there a hand up?
Okay, I unmuted. I mean, I just have questions about, again, going back to the traffic. I live on Larson Drive off Ridgeberry
Well,
Road.
hold on. Ellen, I'm going to call the opposition in just a second. What we're going
Okay.
to do is we're going to ask people who are speaking in favor, and then we're going to ask for the opposition. I'm assuming that you're speaking in the opposition, so I'll make it a point to call on you when I do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this application? Anyone else in favor? Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this application? Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to this application? Ellen, it's all yours.
Again, I'm just concerned about the traffic.
Can she identify herself, please?
Ellie
Yes,
Mari,
yes.
M-A-R-I, Larson Drive.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Again, to say that you're building 200 apartments and that these people who are going to be living there are just going to be using 84, and there's no real impact on Mill Plain Road, I don't know how you can come off saying that. I'm retired. I'm out and about every day. Over the years, the traffic on Mill Plain has grown tremendously. And now there's going to be growth, which is a good thing. But how can you say this is not going to be impacted? How could you say there's going to be minimal impact when you have 200 apartments and a restaurant? I don't get it. I don't think it makes sense.
Thank you very much, Ellen, for your comments noted for the record. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in opposition to this application? Is that you, Ben?
Yes, that's me.
All yours.
Thank you, Ben Chinese, 5 Briar Ridge Road. I'm a member of the city council as well. Again, I agree with the previous speaker regarding traffic. I don't necessarily agree with the traffic report that's presented. As you know, the people who live up on there, Old Ridgeberry Road is a hill. And most people who come down that hill they go 45, 50 miles an hour down that hill. So speed is a factor. And when they come towards the plaza, I think there could be potentially an accident as cars shoot out, especially in the morning, or try to scoot in the evening. So I don't know if that has been adequately addressed, because I think we all want this to be successful and we want everyone to be safe. And I'm not hearing, or I'm not comfortable on the issue regarding traffic. Also, it was mentioned about Milestone. Unless it has changed in the last year or so, the Reserve Road and Milestone Road are private roads. So I don't think the residents there would be too happy using their road to get to the highway off of so and I know it was addressed that they were going to use it. So if they can't use Milestone, as the residents who live there would be very upset that it's being used as a cut through. That has not been addressed if they had to go on Mill Plain Road to use it. So again, I lived in this area a long time. I understand that it's really the hill as you shoot out. It could be a problem with the queuing up in the morning, especially when people are late for work. And, yeah, I mean, you say a lot of people are going to go eastbound on 84 on the ramp. I beg to differ. The people who are going to live here may want to go to Brewster for the train station, which means they're probably going to go on 84 or go on Mill Plain Road, because they're not going to go on the highway because it's always backed up in the morning as well. So those are my concerns, and I don't think the traffic report adequately addressed those concerns. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ben. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in opposition to this application? Is that Mr. Rotello?
It is, Mr. Chairman. Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you. Paul Rotello for the record, 13 Linden Place, Danbury. Couple of points. We all have grown up in the area. I remember the area before there even was a highway. And if I happen to go to the Reserve, right, I live in downtown Danbury, or happen to go to the hotel or Carbide or whatever I was doing up in that area, Benson, Ridgeberry Road, I probably, since the highway was built, hop on 84 down in the Park Avenue area and take that to the Ridgeberry Road exit and go up that way. That's how I would probably get there. But on the way home, I would probably take Mill Plain back, because I'd probably want to stop maybe at Starbucks or a Trader Joe's or maybe Caroluzzi's or something like that. On the way home, I'm going by all these stores. Since I'm in the area, I don't get there all the time, every couple of weeks. I might as well just stop and hit one or two of the shops. I don't think that would be an unusual or even rare occurrence for the residents there. They're in the area. Everybody needs to get stuff. Not everybody at this point shops virtually. A lot of people still like to go into stores. I could see people living in that complex taking Mill Plain Road. I find it very wishful as far as the thinking is concerned, that everybody who lives there is going to take the highway. A lot of people are going to go to Danbury and take the surface streets. As Councilman Chinese noted, if you're heading westbound and you're going to the train station, you'll probably take Mill Plain and Route 6. It's just a better way to get there. And again, it's conceivable. I don't think that it's likely, and I think the city will probably be working with the residents in the reserve to address some of these issues. But yeah, those roads are private, and technically they could shut them down. And I would not want to base my traffic studies on a road that I don't have legal access to, because it may turn out that at some point you don't have legal access to. Cause a revisiting of the, as far as I'm concerned anyway, a revisiting of the study. And then finally, it's been my understanding that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, or maybe we'd have to go to Corporation Council about this, but it's my understanding that recent court cases have indicated that a city cannot deny an application because the surface streets can't handle the traffic. If we have a zone, we basically have to create the infrastructure to serve the zone, which is fine as far as it goes. I take some issue with that. But as far as Mill Plain Road is concerned, which is generally over capacity all the time, that's not a city road, and we have no control over it. It's a state road. So I don't think that court case would apply. And I'm not asking you to deny the application, but I think a traffic issue because of Mill Plain and because Mill Plain is out of our control could be grounds for a denial or a modification. I just want to add that, and I'm not sure if that's correct. You know, Mr. Chairman, I got on zoning in the 90s, and I think the very first petition I saw was for big box stores on Mill Plain. And I was told by the petitioners, don't worry about the traffic because the state is going to widen Mill Plain Road, like in 97. Widen Mill Plain Road. Yeah, the councilman, you know, think forward thinking there. Commissioner, give me an extra lane in both directions, like any minute. So, I mean, it's like 30 years ago, and they haven't done anything to that road since. And we just keep hearing that. And I mean, the latest proposal, you know, Hartford gets a tunnel from through downtown. They're going to move Union Station. Waterbury gets a new mix master. East Hartford gets a bridge across the river, and all costing billions of dollars. And what does Danbury get? We get to drive on the shoulder. I mean, come on, guys. So we have to be cognizant of the fact that for whatever reason, the Boffins in Hartford are not necessarily getting up in the morning and looking at a map of Danbury every day. So we have to kind of understand it. And look, we all, as Councilman Genesi has stated, we all want this new plan to succeed. We want the residences. We want the conversion. We want, you know, my issue was not with the conversion. It was with the delisting of commercial property. We want this to succeed, but we need to be aware of the impact it's going to have on the existing residents, and it has to fit in properly with the whole scheme up there. And nothing on the west side is getting smaller. Everything continues to get bigger. And Compass is coming in, and lucky for us, there's not going to be a lot of traffic with that. But Proton's coming in. We've got new car dealerships and car manufacturers in the nearby region. The area continues to grow, and there probably will be announcements about things that are happening on Prindle Lane and also on Sawmill in the coming year or so. So this is part of a continuum, and everything is going to have to kind of fit together here. So I agree with the councilman who spoke earlier that I'm not completely sold on the traffic plan. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Rotello. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in opposition to this application? Anyone else in opposition? Is there anyone else wishing to speak in opposition to this application? I'll give the applicant a chance to respond to any of the comments if they would choose to do so.
Sure. I'd like to do so. So I would say that we have provided information about the relative impact between an operating hotel that has the right to exist, but that has not had the economic environment to continue to exist. And that's the problem we're trying to solve in a creative way that also addresses our radically underserved affordable housing. And we, out of respect for the commission's time, did not bring the hundreds of people back to tell you how much they support this project, be it in the context of workforce housing or in the context of the makerspace, because I believe that the breadth of the support for this project is well understood. The traffic, I would say, is a comparative reference. The hotel has been closed while the unacceptable traffic realities have been experienced by everybody on this call. And so we're not trying to say that there aren't issues that need to be solved in the Mill Plain corridor. We're saying that with what the rights that this property has to interact with it, we're not changing it in any adverse way. And with that, we would ask you to help us solve another problem in the area that we think we will do well on and not get stopped on traffic, because frankly, all these problems have occurred while that hotel has been closed. And so it's a relative analysis, and we stand by our testimony.
Thank you, Mr. Bertram. Commission members, is there any other comments or questions for the applicant or any other discussion on this application? And if not, Ally, I will again defer to you. I'm looking at my checklist here. Again, engineering, traffic, construction services. Are we okay on this one?
Yes, and the staff reports that have been issued in the final staff reports, there's no deal breakers in them.
Okay. Thank you, Ally. Any questions, commission members, or any other discussion? And if not, I'll entertain a motion to close this particular public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, motion to
Yes.
close this public hearing and move it to number 2 under old business for discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Sylvain. Motion made to close the public hearing. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Kiokio. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This public hearing is closed. Would somebody like to move this to item 2 under old business for discussion and possible action?
So moved.
Chairman, I'll make that motion.
I think that was Mr. Kiokio with the motion, Mr. Sylvain with the second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This item is moved to item 2 under old business for discussion and possible action, which brings us to old business for discussion and possible action. Item 1. GPR Owner LP, application for special exception site plan approval for 1, storage or sale of building materials, section 6A2B15. 2, storage, sale, rental, and or repair of construction equipment, section 6A2B16. 3, truck terminal, warehouse, moving and storage establishment, self-service storage, section 6A2B19. And 4, wholesale distributor, section 6A2B20 in the IL40 zone, 2 Great Pasture Road, K15 109, special exception number 754. The public hearing was closed this evening. Commission members, would anybody like to make a comment for or against this particular?
Chairman, can I say something real quick? I know the public hearing is closed, but I
don't want to have an ex parte communication, Ben, but go
Okay.
ahead.
I'm going to say it because it doesn't affect the site plan. I told Chairman Kiokio that the beacon sales was screened. It has a natural buffer. I was wrong.
Okay.
And that's how it was approved in 2017. I just
Okay.
want to go on the record.
Noted. Thank you.
I know it's ex parte, but I won't be able to sleep at night.
Okay. All right. I think we
Okay.
can allow that one. That one's
That's
not,
it. Sorry.
It's not a deal breaker either, so we're good.
Okay.
Commission members, again, we heard the final presentation from the applicant. We've heard from all of our staff. Any discussion or any guidance to Jennifer or to Ally you'd like to give?
Mr. Chairman, I'll say a few things.
Go ahead, Bob.
I don't have any issues with the application. I think it's going to actually improve the site. It's going to get a second driveway, and traffic will be able to go all the way around the building as opposed to just in and out one driveway on one side. And then, so I think that's an improvement. The sidewalk gets moved and gets some ADA help there, and so that gets fixed. I think the site plan with all the improvements in the shrubbery around is going to improve the site. So I don't have any issues with this.
Thank you, Bob. Any other commission members want to weigh in? Remember, you're not required to, but you're welcome to. Perry?
I'm in agreement. No issues here either. Good to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll agree with that and also agree with the upgrades being very beneficial.
Thank you, Helen. Anything, Kev?
No, I agree.
Thank you. And I too agree. I think there was a lot of positive negotiations back and forth with the applicant. All the changes that were made were positive, and I too have no issue with the approval. So so there's that. Staff, you have your guidance on that particular application. So we will move to item 2 under old business for discussion and possible action. Bright Ravens, I'm sorry, thank you, no problem. Bright Ravens IS Danbury LLC, application for special exception site plan approval for hotel conversion to apartment house mixed use Innovation Studios Danbury in accordance with section 5B2B14 and trip generation greater than 500 vehicle trips per day, section 3E2 in the CA80 zone, 18 Old Ridgebury Road, C15008, special exception 804. And again, the public hearing was closed tonight just a short while ago. Comments? Anyone?
Mr. Chairman, I'll start.
Please, Bob, go right ahead.
Generally, I don't have any major issues with this application. I understand the traffic issue, and I can understand from the neighbor's perspective that they feel traffic is going to be an issue here. However, as Mr. Bertram said, this is really a relative comparison, I think was what he used, which is accurate. Whereas the hotel is currently not operating, and when the apartments are full, the traffic is going to be worse than it is as of today. However, if the hotel were in operation, there's really not going to be much more traffic when you compare it to an operating hotel. So from that perspective, I understand the neighbors' issues. However, I don't know that the traffic is going to be much more than if it were an operating hotel. Other than that, I don't have any issues. I think it's going to be the makerspace space is great to have, and sounds like very useful for a lot of people, and they're very excited to be moving to this area, and we'll get some additional housing in Danbury, which is needed, including some affordable. So for all those reasons, I don't really have any issues with this application.
Thank you, Bob. Anyone else want to discuss this or weigh in on an opinion? Perry.
As always, I would say Mr. Kyokyo has done an excellent job summarizing things, and I couldn't agree more. But I would add that I think this project has been through a vetting process that few go through in this city, and I'm just glad to see it come into fruition. That all sides are able to come together and come up with something that I think the city can be really proud and excited for. So thank you.
Thanks, Perry.
Okay, I'll agree with all that was just said, and I'm glad that we're getting activity on that site again.
Thanks, Helen. Anything, Kevin?
No, I agree.
Yeah, I too am in favor of the application. I wasn't initially in favor of the text amendment to the zoning regs. I wanted to sort of, but the change was made, and now that it's been made, I agree that it should move forward. The need for affordable housing in Danbury is very well documented. So that's not even a matter for discussion. And this certainly helps in that regard. As a resident of Rivington, I'm well aware of the traffic issues. I was always an east side Danbury, Brookfield side of Danbury guy, but the past couple of years I've lived in Rivington, and I've sat in a lot of traffic on Mill Plain Road and on 84 going eastbound. Take my word for it, I have. But again, the issue is the incremental traffic, or the comparison between an operating hotel and this particular use. And to that end, it shouldn't be any big issue. I would caution everyone that there's a lot more going on in Rivington right now than you might be aware of. So there's going to be additional traffic coming down there as well, just to sort of put that aside. But no, that's my opinion, and I guess staff, Ally, Jen, you have your guidance. So. Oh, and I did want to throw in that our traffic engineer, Vera, did sign off and did not have an objection to the traffic plan as submitted. So thank you. Okay, that's it for old business for discussion of possible action. There is one referral, which I will read into the record, but as shown on the agenda, we're not going to be discussing it until the May 21st, 2025 meeting. Just to get it on, there's an 838 referral petition of Walid Al-Bakri, Planning Director, to amend Section 2B, 4A, 2A, 4B, 2A, 4C, 2A, 4D, 4A, 4E, 4A, 4F, 4A, 8C, 4, 6B, and 10D of the zoning regulations to add to listing of permitted uses in each residential zone, amend definition of family child care homes and group child care homes, and add as permitted uses to each residential zone to ensure these uses are treated the same as single and multifamily uses in the residential zones. Zoning Commission public hearing is scheduled for May 27th, 2025. We, as the Planning Commission, will discuss it at our May 21st, 2025 meeting. There's a couple of items under new business, a couple of more 838 referrals. I am not going to read these. You can see from your agenda, they're quite long. I'll leave it up to Walid to or whoever to present it to the Planning Commission, and you can sort of take a look at it now. And again, there's a lot of things there. So if you want to call Walid or Jen or Ally or anybody on any of these, please feel free to do so prior to the June 4th meeting. We have nothing under correspondence or other matters. Nothing under, there's a few items under for reference only, which you can take a look at, upcoming issues, upcoming things. And with that, Jen, Ally, am I forgetting anything? Are we good?
You're good, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Commission members, anything else? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, so moved.
Thank you, Helen. Do I hear a second? Second, Kevin, any discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it.
Good work.
Thank
Good
you.
work,
Thank you.
Ellen.
Everyone.